The types of crime scene is the very first step in any investigation. Every contact leaves a trace. Edmund Lockhart. Sexual assault crime scene. Sensitive and scientific handling. One wrong step can mislead justice, but one correctly handled piece of evidence can save an innocent life. Every contact leaves a trace. Edmund Lockhart. This timeless quote reflects the very foundation of forensic science, a subject I have dedicated my life to with deep respect and sense of service. Hi friends, welcome to Taruvu Forensic Vlogs, where science meets truth and knowledge meets service. I am Sureshtaruvu, former Joint Director of Andhra Pradesh Forensic Science Laboratory, AP Police Department. With the blessings of the noble profession, I have had the honor of receiving the Union Home Minister's Medal and 5 national awards from the Directorate of Forensic Science Services, Ministry of Home Affairs, New Delhi. Now, at the age of 63, after 3 decades of dedicated service, I have stepped into a new journey to share my experience and knowledge freely with humility and humanity. This channel is my humble contribution to educate students, guide professionals, and inspire the general public about the fascinating world of forensic science. Are you a student? Passionate about science and dreaming of solving the real life mysteries, not just in books or movies, but through the power of truth and evidence? Are you an induction training, a student in a police academy, or pursuing studies in law enforcement, forensic science, or criminal justice? Looking to build a meaningful career in service of society? Are you a police officer, judicial officer, or medical professional who want to understand how forensic science supports justice in our daily life responsibilities? Or are you a curious and responsible citizen, someone who believes that truth must be prevailed and knowledge should be shared openly for a better society? Then, my dear friends, you are in the right place. This is not just a YouTube channel. It is a humble platform of learning, service, and inspiration. Today, we begin an exciting and enlightening series, Crime Scene Investigation, a journey through the truth. This is more than a subject. It is a mission to educate, empower, and create awareness, especially for the next generation of truth seekers. And in this first episode, we explore the very foundation. What is crime scene investigation? Join me in this journey with open minds, honest hearts, and shared goal to understand how science and sincerity come together in the service of justice. Crime scene investigation, or CSI, is not just a profession. It is a sacred responsibility, a process grounded in science, truth and service. At its heart, CSI is the systematic and scientific method of observing, documenting, collecting and preserving physical evidence from a crime scene with only one goal: to uncover the truth. It is not about glamour of cinematic drama. It is about discipline, integrity and precision. Because one wrong step can mislead justice, but one correctly handled piece of evidence can save an innocent life or punish the guilty. From tiny fiber on a shirt to a single fingerprint on a glass, from blood pattern on the floor to the trajectory of a bullet, everything at a crime scene speaks if we are trying to listen scientifically. In the lab, the story continues. Biological evidence tells us who was there. Chemical analysis reveals substances or poisons. Ballistics tells the story of bullets and weapons. Digital forensics opens a window into the cyber world. And the document examination can reveal hidden truth in a signature or a note. Every step is a part of bigger chain. The chain of custody, a straight, unbroken that protects evidence from tampering or loss. As forensic science professionals, we treat the crime scene with respect, not curiously, because behind every investigation is a victim. Behind every clue is a story, and behind every success is a team that followed science with sincerely. This is what I wish to share with you, not just the knowledge of forensic science, but the ethics, responsibility and humanity behind it. Let us walk this journey together with purpose, compassion and a commitment to truth. Every successful investigation is not the work of one person. It is the result of teamwork, coordination, and respect for every role involved. Each professional at a crime scene becomes a part of a truth-seeking mission. Police officers are the first responders. They secure the scene, protect the evidence, and ensure no outsider can disturb it. Their alertness in the very first minutes, the golden hour, can decide the future of the case. The clues team is trying to look beyond what the eye can see. They don't just collect objects. They document, photograph, sketch and preserve even the smallest trace of evidence with utmost care and procedure. Forensic experts working in multiple scientific disciplines, from biology to ballistics, from DNA to digital forensics, from toxicology to fingerprint analysis, these are the minds that turned clues into conclusions through scientific validation and unbiased analysis. Investigating officers, often supported by legal teams, then bring it all together. They connect the dots, understand the motive, and reconstruct the sequence of events using evidence and logic. Each person, each step, and each piece of evidence is interconnected, like parts of a well-oiled machine driven by truth. And when this teamwork is based on professionalism, communication, and respect, it leads to one outcome: justice. Types of crime scenes. Understanding the types of crime scene is the very first step in any investigation, because where the crime happened and how it connects to other places can guide us in uncovering the full story. Let us break it down clearly and simply. First, number one, primary crime scene. This is the main location where the crime actually occurred. For example, if a theft took place inside a house, that house is the primary scene. If a murder happened in a park, the park becomes the primary scene. This is where most of the evidence will usually be found. Second one, secondary crime scene. Any other location that is related to the crime but not where it directly happened. Example, if the criminal ran away and changed clothes in a nearby shed, that shed is a secondary scene. If a stolen vehicle was later found abandoned, that place becomes a secondary scene too. These are often overlooked, but they can provide official leads. Third one is conveyance scenes. These are mobile or moving crime scenes, moving vehicles such as cars, trains, buses, boats, even airplanes. For example, a robbery inside a running bus or a murder inside a car, that vehicle becomes a conveyance crime scene. These scenes are especially challenging as evidence can be easily disturbed or lost in transit. Crime scene classification by environment. Crime scenes are also categorized based on location and environment. Indoor scenes, homes, offices, hotel rooms, shops. These are easier to control, but lighting, ventilation, and confined spaces affect how evidence is handled. Outdoor scenes, streets, fields, forests, rivers. These are exposed to the elements, sun, wind, rain, and may be contaminated quickly. So fast response is crucial. Mobile scenes involving movement of transport. These include crimes in moving vehicles, buses, trains, boats, where timing and tracking the route become vital. Every crime scene is like a puzzle, silently waiting to be solved. Unlike every puzzle, if we understand the type, the timeline, and the nature of the scene, we can protect the most important player in the entire investigation. The evidence. Because evidence does not lie, it doesn't speak loudly, but it speaks clearly. If we know how to listen. In every investigation, there is a moment that cannot be repeated. It is called the golden hour. The first 60 minutes after a crime is discovered are crucial. This is when the scene is fresh, the clues are intact, and the trails is still warm. What we do or fail to do in this hour can decide the fate of the entire case. If we protect the scene well, we protect the truth. And when truth is protected, justice can be delivered. What to do and what not to do at a crime scene. Let us now understand the do's and don'ts of crime scene management. Because even a small mistake can erase a big truth. What must be done? Secure the scene immediately and restrict entry. Photograph everything before touching. Even the smallest item matters. Use gloves and proper tools. Never contaminate. Maintain the chain of custody. Evidence must always be trackable. What must never be done? Never touch or move anything without documentation. Never allow media or crowds inside the scene. Never use personal phones or take private photos. Never disturb bodies, bloodstains or patterns. They speak louder than words. At a crime scene, every second counts, and so does every step. The first responding police officer is not just an onlooker. They are the guardian of the truth, the first line of defense for justice. Their responsibilities are critical. Secure the scene immediately to prevent disturbance. Restrict access only to essential personnel. Call for the clues team or forensic experts without delay. Until proper documentation begins, nothing should be touched, moved, or disturbed. Even well-meaning actions can destroy vital evidence. Remember, truth is fragile and it begins with discipline at the very first moment. A crime scene is more than just a location. It is a silent witness waiting to speak through the clues it holds. But that voice can be lost forever with one careless footprint, one ungloved hand, one unrecorded movement. Contamination is the enemy of truth. To protect the scene, no unauthorized entry, no mobile phone usage, no media, public or non-essential staff, no touching of the body, blood patterns or evidence markers. Instead, maintain clear barriers, proper PPE, personal protective equipment, document every action. Preserving the original state is not just a rule, it is a responsibility, because when evidence is contaminated, we doesn't just lose a clue, we risk losing justice. Documentation means eyes before hands. Before a single object is touched, before a single clue is lifted, the scene must speak for itself. That's where documentation begins, with eyes before hands. This is one of the most sacred steps in crime scene investigation, because it freezes the scene in time for those who will never stand there in person. Investigators, judges, juries, and even future forensic experts. Photographs taken from wide angles, mid angles, and close-ups, with scale and without scale. Videography to capture the layout and walk-through sequence. Sketches to show positions, distances, and spatial relationships. Field notes to record every observation, smell, temperature, and the first impressions. This meticulous process becomes the voice of the crime scene, preserved forever in files, reports, and courtrooms. Because once the scene is cleaned, the only truth that remains is what we documented. Evidence collection, types and techniques. Once the documentation is complete, it's time for careful and respectful evidence collection. In forensics, we treat every item, no matter how small, as if it might hold the key to justice. There are three major types of evidences we look for. Number one, physical evidence, like weapons, tools, glass fragments, clothing, etc. Second one, biological evidence, bloodstains, saliva, semen, tissue, hair, and other body fluids. Third one, trace evidence, like fibers, gunshot residues, soil, pollen, paint flakes, etc. Every piece of evidence must be collected using proper tools like tweezers, swabs with gloves, placed in sterile, dry and appropriate containers like paper bags, boxes, tubes, etc. Labeled clearly with full case details, sealed securely and documented. This step is where science meets discipline and where truth meets responsibility. A single fiber, a drop of blood, a broken glass shard can connect a suspect to the scene or prove someone's innocence. Chain of custody, evidence with accountability. The truth does not just need to be found, it must be protected. From the moment an item is collected, it enters a journey known as the chain of custody. A legal and scientific record that tracks every hand that touches the evidence. This includes who collected it, where and when it was found, who handled it next and under what conditions, how it was stored, transported and presented in court. Even a single link in that chain is missing or mishandled, the evidence can be challenged, the integrity can be questioned, the case can be fall apart. Maintaining this chain is moral and professional duty. If even a single link in that chain is missing or mishandled, the evidence can be challenged, the integrity can be questioned, the case can fall apart. Maintaining this chain is moral and professional duty, because evidence without accountability is just an object. But with accountability, it becomes a pillar of justice. Today, in part 3 of our crime scene investigation series, we'll understand types of evidences, what they reveal and how to handle them. Number 1, bloodstain pattern analysis and body fluids. Bloodstains are not random. They tell a story. From impact angle to weapon type, every droplet counts.
4 feet.
Common stain types available in crime scenes. Passive stains like drops, pools, etc. Projected stains, spatter, cast off, etc. Transfer stains, wipes, smears, etc. Handling and packing these evidences. Use sterile cotton swabs to collect liquid blood. In case the stains are dry, scrape the stained area, keep in paper, envelope and seal or swab stains with sterile glass cloth soaked with saline. Dry and pack separately. Air dry swabs completely before packing. Store in paper envelopes or boxes, not plastic. Use luminar or alternative light source to reveal hidden bloodstains. Use proper bags for bloodstained cloths. Other body fluids like semen or saliva are lifted with moistened swabs and preserved separately. Second one, hair and fiber analysis. Hair analysis shows whether hair belongs to human or animal, origin, scalp, body, etc., root presence or not for DNA. Fibers indicate contact with clothing, upholstery, or vehicles. Collection of this type of evidences. Use forceps or tape lifts to gently collect. Avoid touching with bare hands. Place each sample in a clean folded paper bundle, then in a labeled envelope. Packing of these evidences. Store dry, away from heat or contamination. Never combine samples from multiple sources. Third one, footwear and tire marks. These impressions reveal brand, size, wear pattern, etc., movement direction, weight distribution, etc. Lifting methods. On dust, use electrostatic lifters. On wet soil, pour dental stone or plaster of Paris to make a cast. Always photograph first with a scale and north arrow. Packing. Cast must be air dried completely and packed in sturdy boxes with cushioning. Lifts are placed on contrast backing cords and stored flat. Number 4, tool marks and impressions. Where force leaves a signature. Friends, every forceful action leaves a footprint, not just on the surface, but in the form of tool marks and impressions. Tool marks are created when a hard object like a screwdriver, crowbar, saw, or cutting blade come in contact with another surface, such as door, a lock, a window grill, or even a wood metal bones. Types include cut marks on wood, metal, or bone, spray or wrench marks on doors, locks, safes, etc., firing pin impressions, breech face marks, and ejector marks, extractor marks found on bullets and cartridge cases, etc. Each tool, like a fingerprint, leaves a unique striations or patterns, which can be matched back to the specific weapon or instrument used in the crime. Handling and collection of these evidences. Never touch the mark directly. Photograph the area with a scale. Use silicone or dental stone casting to lift the impression. Package the cast in shockproof containers. Submit the suspected tool separately, wrapped and labeled for lab comparison. Case study. Sabotage exposed through tool mark analysis in a derailed case. Let me share a case that not only tested our forensic skills but proved how science can uncover hidden truths even when official narratives say otherwise. In Kurnool, tragic train derailment shocked the region. 6 coaches were thrown off the tracks. 6 passengers lost their lives, and many others were seriously injured. At first, senior officials attributed it to a mechanical failure or accidental rail failure. But as forensic professionals, we couldn't rely on assumptions. We needed the truth. Upon inspecting the scene closely, something didn't add up. The cut on railway track was too precise. It was not natural breakage. We found that the rail had been tampered with at 3 different intervals, and we noticed a key clue. Rusted iron dust had accumulated beneath the cut areas and the rusting patterns varied, indicating that the cuts were made on different days, like as part of a pre-planned act. Using a magnet, we collected those rust particles. We also recovered a section of the cut rail for lab examination. Back in the forensic lab, under microscopic analysis, we discovered fine striated tool marks, unmistakable evidence of a hacksaw blade used intentionally. Our investigation intensified, and soon from a suspect's hideout near the tracks, a hacksaw blade was seized. To confirm, we created a test cut in the lab using the recovered hacksaw blades. And under the comparison microscope, the striations matched exactly with the marks on the suspected sabotage rail track. One of the most chilling cases I solved as a clues team officer in Hyderabad city began with the recovery of dismembered human body parts near an industrial area. At first, public speculation pointed towards a horrifying theory. Was this man cut into pieces by sawmill workers using a mechanical blade? But forensic investigation is not driven on by rumors. It is guided by science. When I carefully examined the cut surfaces using a magnifier lens, and I found a clear sign that contradicted the sawmill theory. A sawmill blade would leave a uniform high-speed rotatory marks, but instead a saw irregular uneven cuts with the directional force typical of a butcher's knife. That subtle but crucial difference helped us rule out mechanical involvement and pointing towards manual dismemberment. But the story didn't end there. We identified a tattoo on one of the body parts, a vital clue that led us to identify the victim as a man from a nearby colony who had a history of domestic violence. We began to focus on his home. When investigating officer examined the house thoroughly, I associated him. I detected wiped bloodstains on the walls and floor. Even more telling, we discovered blood traces lodged between the tiles in the hall and bathroom, invisible to the naked eye, but recoverable through proper forensic technique. These traces were carefully collected and analyzed. The DNA results confirmed the blood matched the dismembered body. That was the moment the truth surfaced. In a shocking but emotionally complex twist, the victim's wife confessed. Years of cruelty and violence has driven her to a breaking point, and in a desperate act of self-defense and trauma, she took his life and tried to destroy the evidence. This case left a deep impact on my career, not just because of the complex forensic challenges, but also due to human emotions and tragic truth that unfolded through the evidence. This investigation is a reminder. Every stain, every mark, every silent trace speaks. It's our duty to listen. These marks help in specific tools to forced entry or tampering. Handling. Do not remove the mark. Photograph it with close-ups and scale. Use casting material like silicone or microcell to make 3D molds. Packing. Place cast in rigid containers. If the actual tool is found, wrap separately, label with time, location, and preserve in a sealed box. Fifth one, digital evidence at the scene. Modern scenes include mobiles, calls, text, location, CCTV DVRs for video footage, vehicles, GPS systems, smart watches or tablets. Handling of these evidences. Turn off the device if powered on. Place in Faraday bag to block network. Never charge, access or scroll through the device on site. Label with date, time, device condition. Packing. Use anti-static shock-proof containers. Sixth one is fingerprint evidence. It is old but gold. There are three types. Latent fingerprints, invisible, developed with powders or fuming. Second one is patent fingerprints, visible with blood or ink. Third one is plastic impressions on wax, soap, mud, etc. Handling and lifting of these evidences. Use powder plus brush to develop latent fingerprints on smooth surfaces. Lift with transparent adhesive tape and place on backing cards. Photograph before and after lifting. Patent and plastic prints must be photographed as they are, then lifted or cast if needed. Packing. Place lifted prints in a print-safe envelopes or plastic sleeves. Label clearly with location and object description. Hello friends, welcome back to Taruvu Forensic Vlogs, where science meets truth and service meets society. Today, move to part 4 of our crime scene investigation series. A very important episode, specialized investigations. Each type of crime scene demands not just skill, but sensitivity, awareness, and respect for human dignity. Number 1, death scene investigation. Finding the truth with care. Every death is not a crime, but every unexplained death must be treated with care. We must ask, is this death natural or suspicious? Are there any signs of violence, poisoning, or suicide? What clues can the position of the body, rigor mortis, body temperature, or insect activity reveals? Estimating time since death is crucial. It connects timelines, confirms or contradicts alibis, and helps identify the sequence of events. A death scene is a sacred place. Investigators must preserve the dignity of the deceased while ensuring that no detail is lost. Sexual assault crime scene, sensitive and scientific handling. This is one of the most emotionally sensitive crime scenes. Our approach must be based on empathy, respect, and scientific thoroughness. Key steps include immediate medical and psychological support for the victim, careful collection of biological evidence like semen, saliva, hair, clothing, etc., preserving trace evidences from the body, scene, or bedding, avoiding contamination, maintaining privacy and dignity. In these cases, forensic science becomes not just a tool, but a voice for the voiceless. Fire does not just destroy, it leaves behind clues in the form of burn marks, charred depths, and melted debris. Our forensic goal at the fire scene: identify the point of origin, look for ignition devices or accelerants like petrol or kerosene or diesel, etc. Analyze soot patterns, V pattern burns, and melted wires. Rule out electrical faults versus deliberate sitting. Case insight: in one warehouse fire, police suspected an electric short circuit, but we found pore marks, unusual V burns, and faint petrol odor. Gas chromatography confirmed accelerant use, and the case turned from insurance claim to intentional arson. In fire investigation, even a burnt matchstick can become the spark of justice. Explosive and bomb scene protocol. Safety first, science next. These are high risk zones, and the first priority is always safety. For forensic teams, responders, and the public. Forensic tasks at a bomb scene: ensure the area is secure and no secondary devices remain. Use chemical swabs and instrumental analysis to detect explosive residues. Study the blast radius, crater formation, fragment spread, etc. Reconstruct the device using remains, wires, batteries, timing units, container pieces, detonator pieces, burnt fuse wires, chemical stains, crater, etc. Case insight: at a bus stop explosion scene, our team recovered shrapnel embedded in walls and tiny battery fragments. A post-blast reconstruction helped identify the bomb type and detonation trigger. Physical evidence collected in other case and chemical residue matched exactly with the bomber signature of other blast case, leading to a breakthrough in an interstate terror case. Such scenes demand multi-agency coordination, composure, and complete discipline. Vehicle accident forensics: reconstructing motion into truth. Accidents may happen in seconds, but the evidence left behind speaks for hours. What we look for: skid marks, brake patterns, point of impact, glass spread, tire prints, and vehicle resting position. Injury mapping to see if seat belts, airbags were used. Mechanical examination for brake failure or steering loss. Speed estimation and movement direction using tire skid marks, physics and software. Case insight: in one case, a truck driver claimed brake failure, but skid patterns showed full braking occurs 20 meters before the crash. Upon inspection, brakes were fully functional. It was not failure, it was negligence and overspeeding. Accident forensics helps the court answer. Was it just an accident, or was it avoidable, or worse, intentional? Whether it is a fire, a blast, or a collision, the scene may be chaotic, but forensic science brings its structure, logic, and clarity. To all trainees, officers, and curious minds watching this series, observe everything, protect what remains, and let the evidence speak. Because the truth hides in burn marks, twisted metal, and blast fragments, and it is our job to reveal it. Friends, each specialized investigation is a bridge between science and humanity. Behind every burnt building, every broken vehicle, every lifeless body, there is a truth waiting to be uncovered and a family waiting for justice. Let us handle every case with honesty, humanity, and responsibility. In our next episode, we will begin a deep dive into evidence analysis in the forensic lab, where collected materials become courtroom facts. If you find this content useful, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Let us together make forensic science a pillar of justice and awareness in society. Jai Hind, Jai Forensics. This is Sureshtaruvu signing off with sincerity and service.